And our first story, there's been a rise in cases of criminal activities in the Upper West region. A region once considered a haven of peace and tranquility now has residents living in trepidation and some fear. On a daily basis, people are robbed at gunpoint. To nip the practice or the vices of criminals in the bud, the Upper West Regional Security Council is asking residents to form neighborhood watchdog committees to complement the work of the police. Rafiq Salam brings you a lot more.
District Chief Executive for Wa West, Edward Labiru Sobo, painted a mental picture of the security situation in the district.
One of such security breaches has been the activities of armed robbers who terrorize and rob victims of their belongings at gunpoint. It appears every single day that passes by, there is an incident of armed robbery case that is reported in the district. Many people have fallen victim to these robberies and sometimes create fear and panic among the people. In fact, there are roads in this district when it is safe here, no one uses those roads out of fear of attack from robbers.
Deeply concerned about the increasing insecurity situation in the district and the region at large, the Upper West Regional Security Council embarked on a sensitization meeting to communities where criminal activities are on the rise. Notable among them are communities lying on the Puyen-Tangatuna Highway. Upper West Regional Minister Alhaji Suleiman Al-Hassan called for homegrown methods to fight the worsening insecurity in the region.
One of the ways we are putting across, we are putting before you today, is for us to go back and revive our old tradition of seeing to our own security at our own level. And that is with the formation of community watchdog committees. We are encouraging every community, and we are going to come around to see to it that every community in the region, and especially those communities along our main highways, form community neighborhood watchdog committees.
Upper West Regional Commander of the Ghana Police Service, DCOP Ochiribu Apia, called on the public to come forward with information to help them apprehend criminals and their elements who are making life uncomfortable for the people.
Let us come together to weed them out of our midst, to eliminate them once and for all. And how can we do this? Let us be bold, let us be sincere, let us give them up. We know them. As I've said, if you have a brother, a sister, a neighbor who continue to live in affluence and his lifestyle does not commensurate with the work that he is doing, then it seems something is happening.
Communities in the Wa West and other communities in the region where criminal activities are rampant are asked to nominate persons for the formation of community watchdog groups to partner the police to nip the activities of these criminals in the bud. A similar sensitization meeting was held annually in the Wa West district. Reporting for JoyNews, Rafiq Salam, Puyen-Tangatuna.
Management of the Ketakrachi District Hospital is undertaking some projects to position the facility to improve on its services and also accommodate the increasing number of patients. Notable among the projects is the construction of a two-story children's ward and a drug-producing unit to manufacture basic drugs for use by the hospital. This, according to the authorities, will help reduce expenditure on drugs. Fred Kwame-Sari has the rest of the story.
The Karachi West District Hospital, situated at Karachi, has been a referral facility for smaller health centers in about 5 districts. Patients travel all the way from Mandai district in the northern region and Tena East in the Brong-Ahafo region to access healthcare at the facility. Kwachi East and Kwachi Inchimuru districts, which are without a district hospital, also depends on the Kwachi West District Hospital for major health care needs. The hospital receives about 250 patients daily, and due to this, there has been immense pressure on the facility. The 16-bed capacity children's ward department, for instance, accommodates over 35 children daily, forcing parents to nurse their children on the corridors of the facility. All this will stop because the Kwachi West District Hospital is constructing a 60-bed two-story children's department with support from Korean Foundation for Health, KOFI. Dr. Hilarious Abiu is the acting Kwachi West District Director of Health.
We have 3 incubators for our sick newborns, especially the preterm or premature babies. Because of space, we are currently using only 2 incubators. The third one is still in the box. And it's part of the reasons that we are making efforts to build a new children's ward, which would house a more spacious neonatal intensive care unit, where we can be able to use the most of the equipment, the incubators that we have, and possibly get additional ones from donors.
Due to the increasing number of patrons, the hospital spent more on drugs. Records show that an amount of over 1,685,000 Ghana cedis was spent on drugs in 2017. Realizing too much of the internally generated fund has been spent on drugs, management thought it wise to set up a drug-producing unit for the production of some basic drugs, since the hospital has the human resources in manufacturing drugs. The facility is expected to be operational in mid-2018.
The idea of the drug manufacturing plant happens to be one of those many initiatives that we have taken in order to boost revenue generation and make medicines readily available. So currently we have human resources, we have pharmacists, we have pharmacy technicians, and we're collaborating with Pharmanova and Kolebu Pharmacy. They are already into production of basic medicines. So we've had our staff undergone some internship with them, and also working to see if they can even help us in the importation of the equipment for the production. So the plan is that in the short term, we are going to be doing what we call the extemporaneous preparations. These ones do not require machines. And as we do that, with the passage of time, and we are able to deal with all the procurement processes, then we can get in a fully automated equipment that will be able to do the production from start to end. And all that we need to do is to put labels on the bottle. So we don't have any human interference with the production process. It makes it safer and of greater standards.
Nevertheless, management of the Kwachi West District Hospital is soliciting for funds to enable it purchase a $60,000 drug production machinery to facilitate production at the unit. Fred Kwame Asari, Joy News.
Women in science and technology, engineering and mathematics say unbalanced female population in higher education is a national drawback. An organizing committee at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology is particularly worried about low female postgraduate enrollment in the sector. The member and associate professor at the Department of Mathematics, Professor Atinuke Adebonji, spoke at a get-together in Kumasi. Love FM's Kwesi Debra now reports.
Though she admits tertiary institutions have done well in increasing female admission, she maintains they can do more.
The VC, even the previous one, has deliberately given an advantage to females. So you might have, maybe you have an aggregate 8 and the girl has an aggregate 10 and she's vying for the same program. She might come in. So they're giving them that. But if you still look at the numbers, I mean, the proportion of females is still not right. But the funny thing is, if you come to medical school, if you come to engineering, if you come to sciences, the girls are doing very well. Most of the times they're giving awards out, it's the girls getting most of these awards. But when you come and look for them in postgraduate classes, they're not there.
Professor Adibanji blames low interest in mathematics by girls in their formative years on poor teaching methodologies. She therefore advocates intensified monitoring and innovation in instruction to whip up interest.
For instance, you might have a problem teaching a child addition, but he knows that if I put one leg of my shoe with another leg of my shoe, then I have two feet. So we need to innovate our ways of teaching it to the younger ones.
The ceremony brought together women in science, technology, engineering and mathematics within the KNUST community. It provided a platform to exchange ideas and charting a path for collective involvement as key stakeholders in national development. Women in Science, Technology, Engineering and Mathematics focuses on achieving active involvement of female scientists in leadership within the Ghanaian context. Professor Mrs. Aibo Kudro is Provost, College of Science, KNUST.
We think that a time has come when we should see women as part of development, to see as part in the development of our nation. Sometimes we are a bit tilted, and everybody is saying science and technology drives a nation. And in doing science and technology, you discover that less women want to do science. So we are just coming together to make sure that we get to know ourselves and also create an avenue where the young one, the next generation, can look up to us and say that science is not just one-sided, but that men and women can do science and enjoy science.
Reporting for Joy News, Kwesi Deborah.
The Inspector General of Police, David Asantia-Pietu, is assuring that adequate steps are being taken to ensure the country's safety and also keep all police officers safe from harm. The IGP was summoned to appear before Parliament's Defence and Interior Committee to respond to questions on what led to the death of a policeman at Domi Kwabenya Station here in Accra. Joseph Opoku-Gapo has more.
Inspector General of Police, David Asantia-Pietu, was in Parliament on Tuesday along with other senior police officers for the meeting, which lasted close to 3 hours. He told journalists after the meeting police personnel are still determined to do their jobs.
We are behind our men. I mean, we assure and reassure them that things that have happened is not going to break our resolve to protect the people of this country. And they should continue. That is our sworn mandate. And we continue to protect life and property and maintain law and order in this country.
As far as the Ghanaians?
Yes, that once we are up in our game in protecting life and property, Ghanaians must be assured that they are in safe hands.
Interior Minister Ambrose Derry, who was also at the meeting, says government will properly equip the security forces to prevent such incidents in future.
Well, the matters of logistics by all means came on. You know that I've had occasion to say that we have different levels of shortfalls. First of all, from the personnel level, we have one policeman to 848 civilians. The United Nations says minimum 1 to 500. The government, you know, is starting some recruitment this year of 2,000. Some years we haven't had it. We need to do more. The President is committed. We also are aware of the logistical support that the President has given, 200 for vehicles, 400 motorbikes. And that's because we are beginning to confront different type of crime now using motorbikes, that we need to change our ways.
Ranking member on Parliament's Defence and Interior Committee, James Agaga, says the committee feels reassured following the meeting.
The issues that came up for interrogation were done. There was some in-depth exposition with relation to the issues, and we're generally very satisfied with the outcome.
So for you, was it just a communication issue and the information not reaching you about what is being done to deal with the situation?
An issue, something happened, and life was lost, and we all felt troubled that, listen, this is not the first time. You remember what happened at the Afram Plains, and coming on the back of that, we lost another life at Kwabenya. So we're just wondering whether or not the Ministry of the Interior, the government and the police have strategy.
The Director of Legal Services at the National Communication Authority, Abena Asafweje, has ended her testimony before an Accra High Court, insisting the NCA does not have a valid contract with Infralogs Development Limited. She has, over the past 2 court hearings, been testifying as a state first witness in the trial of the former NCA Board chairman, Eugene Bafo-Boni, and 4 others charged with causing financial loss to the state. She was cross-examined on Tuesday by 4 defense lawyers. Confronted with a controversial contract document, Mrs. Asafweje said it was not valid since due process was not followed in signing the contract. There's more in the following report by Joseph Akablay.
Mrs. Asafweje, during cross-examination, was handed the contract document signed by the former Director General, but she insisted that could not have been a valid contract executed on behalf of the NCA. Lawyer Bafwa Sasijima, lawyer for Alhaji Mimina, had suggested to the witness the former DG, as an officer responsible for the NCA, could enter into a contract on behalf of the authority. Mrs. Asafweje rejected the suggestion. She told the court the signatory portion of the contract document read, quote, National Communications Agency, unquote, instead of National Communications Authority. She added all contracts entered on behalf of the NCA are prepared by the legal division and kept in its custody. This, she insisted, was not the case for this contract. Lawyer Jima had, at the start of proceedings, notified the court of his motion for discovery of documents to be relied upon by prosecution. Justice Eriche Bafo asked that he holds on and moves the motion on Thursday, January 25, 2018. Lawyer Osafo Boabi, who represents businessman George Derek Opon, during his cross-examination of the witness, suggested that the NCA had in the past released funds to the Ministry of Communications despite not budgeting for that. Mr. Asafweje disagreed, saying it did not require budgeting because the money involved belonged to the ministry, which were proceeds from the sale of spectrum executed by the NCA. The state is expected to call its second witness on Thursday, January 25, 2018.
Well, so that'll be it for the news.